Okay, so we've been talking a little bit about support. We talked about breath before and told you a little bit about myself. But now we're going to get into the bread and butter of our singing. Aside from the breathing, aside from the body position and the support, but actually our vowels and a little bit of our consonants. But what I want you to imagine, at least with the way that I've been taught and the way that I'd like to teach you, is we want to sing with a position that is very much stemmed from our ah position. Like when you go to the doctor's, or I should say the dentist's office, when he says, say ah, ah, that's the place that we want to start from. Now, all the other vowels are going to stem from this ah kind of position. Now, how we manipulate those vowels is going to be with our tongue instead of thinking about it with our lips. Sometimes when we think about like saying a word or enunciating something, we do it more with our lips rather than the back of our tongue. So what I want to encourage you to do is to, instead of trying to change or enunciate with your lips, let's do it with the back of our tongue. Now, this will seem super silly, and so I'm giving you a warning ahead of time. It is. But it will help you a lot. I'm confident as much. I know that it's helped me a great deal. But what I want to do is I want to start with that ah on the jaw. Ah. And I want to say a as my ah is with my jaw. Ah. Eh. 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 From this ah position, ah, eh, and as if I'm trying to say a while I'm in this ah in the jaw position, a, I get that. I get a nice a. Whereas opposed to trying to go a, if I brought my jaw down, as you could see, and maybe my tongue was manipulated because I brought my chin down, but I was not in control of my tongue in the way that I was enunciating. When we are enunciating with the tongue, we have more control of our vowel, and I want you to become disciplined with your tongue. And I know discipline seems like a gnarly word, but like this is really, really helpful for us if we are disciplined with it, and will do us a lot of good. So that was on the jaw, ah, eh, oh. So if I try to say oh with my ah in the jaw, I'm going to get something like that where my lips are going to move forward, but my ah has made it so that I have that openness in the back of my throat. Ah, oh, 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 oh. Oh, right? There's something there where the O is like super clear. It sounds silly when I'm not singing, but when I am singing, it sounds like I'm singing O. So we had ah, eh, ah. Now let's shift it to E. This is going to be a little bit different. Ah, E. E, E, where chin's going to come up a little bit more. It's more of a closed shape. Some people refer to it as a closed vowel, E and U. There are other ways of understanding how E is used, but a cool rule of thumb that I use is to stem everything from that ah in the jaw. So if you think about the ah, and then saying easy, E, E, then you can still keep that opening. What can be really dangerous, or I don't want to scare you, what can cause problems is if you're too closed with your closed vowel, where it just feels like you can't sing up to a certain point. So keeping the back of the throat open with that ah can really help you in that specific situation. Although I do know that everybody has their own kind of hurdles to go over. I know that E and oo, those were tough ones for me. And depending on the day, certain vowels are tough for me. And I don't know exactly what that is. I can speculate, but if you're running into specific problems with each of these vowels, remember to leave a comment or to send a video so I can give a video response. But continuing from ah, e, 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 e. We have that clear E, and that's what we're looking for. As opposed to just trying to go E, which can actually work. So I corrected myself there. Because the E it can be in the oo position. It can be a little bit darker. But what I was trying to make an example of is like, not thinking about your E and just trying to control it with your lips instead of your throat. But that opened up another opportunity to move into oo and talk about a deeper kind of E anyway. So my bad. But now going into oo, one thing that we can think about in tandem with thinking about E, ooh, an oo like that, is we can be a little bit bigger with it, going from that ah again. Ah. Ooh. Ooh. And we can have an ah-ish ooh. And Lord willing, if you stick around for the whole course, we'll be talking a little bit more about that with the harmonica. But for right now, focusing on singing is the ah-ish ooh. Ah on the jaw. Uh. Ooh with the back of the tongue, or I should say, as if you were to try and say oops, oops, with an ah in the jaw. Ah. And you're putting your lips forward, which totally helps and works out. So to recap, we have ah, e, o, e, oo. And how that would sound with me actually singing would be ah, e, o, e, it really, really helps for us to be able to start from that ah position with our vowels. And it takes a little bit of doing, and yeah, there's a little bit of that silliness that happens too, where you're like, man, why does this have to be lame? Maybe it's God's sense of humor. Because when people sing, you're like, oh man, that was awesome. But if they were to actually, if you were to actually just take away the actual audio and just look at their face, it may make you laugh. And I only say this in passing because that happened to me at a performance. I was still making sound, but it was at an assisted living facility, and there was a lady that was just laughing at me. And so I asked, why? And I don't remember if it was somebody that said it for her, or it probably was that, because it was, I think she might have been shy. I don't remember exactly, but she said I looked like I was using the bathroom, something like that, the face that I was making. And that was silly, and it was also funny because some of the faces that we make are silly, even though they sound beautiful. So take that with or as food for thought. But anyway, we've talked about our vowels, and we've we haven't talked a little bit or too much about our consonants, or at all about our consonants, but how I want you to think about your consonants are our kind of bridges or transitions from vowel to vowel. So when you're saying k or n or or l, all of these things, singing, all of those consonants are actually like bringing you from one vowel to the next. If we were just singing all vowels, that would be lame. If we were singing all consonants, that would be lame. Thank God that we get to sing both. And there are a few exercises that you can do that you can start, actually going into a direction where you are getting used to that kind of relationship. One would be like this. If I played, if I sang, and this was in the Frank Sinatra tips on popular singing or modern singing or something like that, but I had a student that had given me that book, or like a printout of that book. God bless you, Mike. That was super awesome. And I learned a lot from it and used to teach out of it quite a bit. And now I'm teaching out of it now. So there's an exercise where the exercise is carry ma home, or ma home, if you want to do it that way. But the idea is to really, well, actually, I don't know if that was exactly the idea that was behind it. I kind of made it that way. And so I'm still making it that way for you. I think that that was probably in mind for the people that had worked on that with Frank Sinatra as well. I think it was Tommy Dorsey. But anyway, so if I focus on the carry my home, and I take it up a few notches, carry my, carry my, carry my, carry my. One thing that you'll notice, and that I'm noticing, is I'm carrying my voice from vowel to vowel with those consonants. The k, e, r, the r going into the y, the e, carry my, and then bringing it on down off the huh. And if you made sense out of that, awesome, and praise God. But I want you to think about that with other songs that you sing. Think about, okay, what consonants are involved here? And I know that's kind of a silly question, but when you look at a phrase, instead of thinking let me just, just wing it and see what happens, which we can do a lot of the time, or we can really take a piece of music, especially one that we like, and yeah, we can study it. We can see how the words flow, even just in the mechanical doing of it. Carry mom, or let's see, one of my favorite songs by Panic at the Disco is, I'm forgetting the title. Their first album, I Write Sins Not Tragedies, is every song title is super long, and praise God for it. It's really cool. But it's a very percussive type of singing. So it's sit tight, I'm gonna need you to keep time. Come on, just snap, snap, snap your fingers for me. Good, good, now we're making some progress. Come on, just tap, tap, tap your toes to the beat. So when I take a song like that, and I'm not singing it to pitch, I'm singing lower pitches. Like, he really goes for it. Brendan Urie is, dang, he is a gift from the Lord. His voice is awesome. But anyway, I'm mapping out like how that song is approached with the consonants, being like, sit tight, I'm gonna need you to keep time. Come on, just snap, snap, snap your fingers for me. Good, good, now we're making some progress. Come on, just tap, tap, tap your toes to the beat. And I believe this may call for a proper introduction. And well, don't you see, I'm the narrator and this is just a prologue. Like, I'm thinking and like working through what those consonants are going to be like, what those vowels are going to be like, what it feels like rhythmically before I even sing it. Because if I didn't do that, I would not be able to get into the next part or the other parts after. And swear to shake it up if you swear to listen or feel so young, desperate for attention. I aim to be your eyes, trophy boys, trophy wives. I swear to shake it up if you swear to listen or still so young, desperate for attention. I aim to be your eyes, trophy boys, trophy wives. Right? Like, that song is super high. And if I didn't put in that extra work, I just winged it, I wouldn't be able to get it to the point where I was like, oh, cool, like, I sang that one, and praise God for it. And so even just a little bit of doing, even just a little bit of studying the vowels and consonants of a song can really help you in being able to nail it, to sing it, even like when you're doing karaoke or something, or when you're practicing your singing and developing your voice. Start paying attention to those things. Your vowels stemming from ah to a to o to e, u, and doing that with your tongue instead of just the lips. Ah, e, e, and then singing on them. A, e, o, e, u. A, e, e, o, u. And that ooh vowel is like a really, really big deal too. When, I've been talking way too long. Anyway, I hope this has been really helpful. Your vowels, your consonants, remember that they have a really, really beautiful relationship, and thank God for both of them. Your vowels are being transferred, or your singing is a transference of your vowel to consonant, and you can do it percussively, you can do it smoothly. There are all sorts of ways, and it becomes really, really fun, and thank God for it. God bless you, and Lord willing, I will see you in the next lesson when we actually put this stuff into practice with our scale exercises.